In this video, I'm going to show you how to pass a variable from C# to SQL Server database in a select statement. It's your basic SQL command, but you have to have a certain format to follow in order to be able to pass a variable from C# to SQL Server. So I have already created an application that is attached to a SQL Server database. So here I made a quiz maker. Clicking edit quiz. So the user will be able to edit their quizzes. I go to this one right here and then edit it. Here, I need the question to populate right here and the answers as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so the form is right here. So what needs to happen is once they click edit quiz, it should send them to the form right here. So I need to have the boxes populated when the form loads. So I have all of the code already set. I'm going to explain to you what I did here. I made the database by going to project and add new item and then data service-based database. It's the same extension as the SQL Server database. I didn't create the database through SQL Server. Alright, so basically here is the SQL command that I created. All you're going to have to do is, I said, select question from quiz question answers. So let me show you the structure. Under quiz question answers, it has to get question, and I'm passing in the question ID. Quiz form right here. Most important thing right at the beginning, you have to ensure that you have this command right here. These two have to be the same. And quiz ID form, I have already declared it as a variable up here. So you have to make sure that you declare as a variable if you're going to use it as a scalar variable later on in the program. So basically what this is going to do is going to enclose quiz ID form in between the single quotes. In order to send information from C#, you need to enclose it in single quotes. Now, the best way to show you how this is behaving is through running it in debug mode. We're going to click quiz and we're going to go to the one we need, the test set. We're going to edit the quiz. The user clicks on the select item and it puts it onto quiz name. It makes a connection to the database and you set a SQL command variable and then you open the connection. You don't open the connection, you just establish it. Here is where I define my scalar parameter. In this case, it's going to be quiz name, and I have already defined it at the top of the form. So now you send the quiz name variable, which is test set, in order to get the quiz ID. Notice quiz name is a string. Sending information to the SQL Server database like this, enclosing the variables in single quotes will work for integers and string. Now what happens is I open the connection and execute scalar. Now this right here, this command will only return one value. So if this command sent more than one result, it will only take the top one. So what I do here is set the quiz ID to the ID variable in C# and then I send it to the next form. We're going to pass the ID and the name of the quiz to a new form edit quiz, which is this one that you saw over here. Okay, so let's step into that method. Okay, so here is where I passed the information from last form. The quiz name, test set, and the primary key. And I'm setting the names of the form that we just sent to quiz name over here, which is local only to this form, and quiz ID form only local to this form as well. Okay, so now we're in the load method of the page. Here I'm going to set quiz name to a text box. Quiz name is going to go right up here and it's going to be the value that I just passed from the other form. I'm going to create the connection. I'm going to specify the database, initialize command. Here is where I add the scalar parameter quiz ID form in order to get some text from the database. Now you'll notice that we're passing in an int this time to the database and we're trying to get some text. Before we passed in the quiz name and we got the question ID. Here is where I execute it. And let's see if it worked. Okay, so there it is. That is the question that it got from the database. So let me show you the database and the information that it just pulled. Okay, so it was quiz 43, right? There's a lot of questions, but it pulled up this one right here. It pulls the information from the database and it puts it to the text box, which is this guy right here. Now, as for the answers, with one connection open, I can have many SQL commands. Alright, so I'm going to get answers 1 from the database, and then I'm going to put it to answer 1. After I set it to variable answer 1, I'm going to set it to the text box, and it's going to do the same for number 3 and number 4. Connection close, and let's look at the form. So there it is. It put the question and the multiple choice answers right there.